Hey guys, great to see you. Great to be here. Just to be clear, this is Pinaki and I'm David. So, about 2015, I was asked to develop and deploy a new analytical ecosystem at Equifax. We call that initiative Cambrian, and what it was designed to do is to solve a lot of problems that we had set up, that we had in our analytics organization and as a company as a whole, in analyzing and developing new products around our data assets. And as that journey continued, we figured out and solved a lot of these problems. And it was problems like accessing data, as simple as that, right? Sometimes it would take us 2 to 3 weeks, maybe sometimes 6 weeks to get a hold of a data asset somewhere in the company to get it in our analytics environment. A couple other reasons, issues that we had were around advanced analytical tools, right? We had some software and some tools. We also had constraints around compute capacity and our ability to deploy those models once they were completed in that analytics environment. So governance around our data and controls. So a lot of these issues we addressed with the Cambrian initiative, and I want to talk about how that transformed into a solution that we built for our clients, which we call Ignite. And basically what we took is that analytical ecosystem that was built and developed for Equifax's data analysts, data scientists, statisticians, and we turned it around and put it client-facing. And what that was around providing our clients was the ability to get immediate access to our data, a robust development environment with advanced analytical tools like H2O is one, immediate access to insights that they could derive with their data and our data in this ecosystem. The other thing we wanted to focus on is when you did get a great insight, how do you get that into a situation that you can run and deploy quickly and easily? Our clients were taking somewhere 6 to 9 months from the time they started their analysis to the time they could actually leverage that new model in a production environment. So Equifax Ignite was born to solve those problems for our clients, and it was tested and developed and perfected internally at Equifax with our own data scientists. So I'll talk about Ignite and the 3 pillars that we call that make up Ignite. And we're going to do a couple of videos to demonstrate some of those tools in real time for Pinaki. So the real key features that we wanted to highlight is our ability to build and deploy models in our Equifax Ignite models and scores solution. And that's where our clients maybe not have the advanced analytical staff to build and deploy their own models, so they come to Equifax and our data scientists, our statisticians will work on this environment to help them be successful. And on the right side in the green is our Equifax apps. These are data visualization apps that were pre-built and designed to highlight and solve very specific problems around market intelligence, insight activation, and optimization of your strategies. And so those 2 components are around the Ignite Direct solution. The Ignite Direct solution is basically an analytical ecosystem that allows clients to log in immediately and get access to state-of-the-art data, tools, and methodologies, and analytical experts like Pinaki and our staff at Equifax to build and self-serve and deploy analytical solutions. And so what we're going to do today is I'm going to let Pinaki actually take over and show you how all this, how this ecosystem works together to start from developing a strategy, deploying that strategy, and then monitoring how that strategy is performing in the industry, in the market. And then the tools that are wrapped around for you as a user in Ignite to get access to that. So Pinaki, you want to take it away?
Sure. Thanks, Dave. So as Dave mentioned, I mean, you saw those 3 pillars of Ignite, and the last 2 pillars is what we're going to be talking about really here today. As you can see, that analytics development is also like a software development lifecycle. It really starts with market research, right? So in other words, if you can click on this, on the arrow right here.
I'll let you do it.
Oh, there you go. So we have a concept for marketplace apps where we build in a lot of apps that solve business problems for our clients. And in this case, we are starting the problem statement with what does the market look like for me in comparison to my peers, right? So as we do benchmarking with me and my peers, I see that I'm losing opportunities in certain spaces in the market. I'm also gaining market share in certain spaces in the market. So how do I start booking more clients? So that's kind of the market research and the problem statement stated by a client. So
yeah,
the next,
I was going to say, what I'd highlight is that allows our clients to get access to 100% of the Equifax data set in a tool that's easily visualized in this tool in the system. So they can immediately start to develop that new strategy, how to enact new decisions to move their business in the direction that they want to go into.
Right. So, right after the statement is done, so once we understand, okay, what are the areas of improvement that we could make for our clients have the ability to actually pick and choose from the variety of data assets that we have within Equifax, right? Now, this is our data wheel, we call it. We have several data assets just within US alone, and consumer credit being one of the top ones. We have employment data, we have national telephones and utility exchange data, and a bunch of other regulated and non-regulated data. So the clients have access to some of those data sets based on the problem that they are trying to solve. So once they pick and choose the data, then they let us know and say, okay, these are the data sets that we need for our analytical project. So we start loading up the environment for the client, and this is really a Hadoop-based environment. So now we load all those data sets and put it into one place where the clients can come in and build their own analytics using our data, clients' data, and also any kind of third-party data. So there's a lot of data sets and data movements and that is happening, but we take care of that for our clients. Now in this case, we're logging in through the VDI, which is the Citrix virtual desktop interface. Pretty simple interface. They log in using two-factor authentication, and they're inside Equifax Ignite.
Yeah, and so what I mentioned earlier is when we give clients access to Equifax data, they're getting it through this virtual desktop. And as soon as they log in, the data that we have is now accessible by those users immediately. Traditionally, what would happen was they would create an order, we would negotiate pricing, and over a period of a month, maybe a month and a half, we would extract that data from our systems and physically deliver it to their platforms, where their IT teams would have to take receipt of that data, load it into a platform, and then give that analyst access to that. So we just cut 6 to 8 weeks out of the process by just allowing them to log in and get access to that through the virtual desktop.
Right, and these are very straightforward tools. I'm sure most of you in this room are familiar with Hadoop ecosystem tools like Hive and Impala. Pretty straightforward for our clients to actually get in, run SQL queries, do data wrangling with the data sets that we brought in for them, and also from the third parties. It's already pre-linked and keyed. So as any analyst, I mean, your first step in the process is actually data wrangling or data engineering to build your model data sets, right? All of that happens with the leverage of the Hadoop processing capacity, right? In this case, they're using, let's say, trade line data, which is our traditional credit-related data sets. Now, once the data sets are built, the next step in the process would be for us to take them into the modeling phase. And this is where they could be leveraging tools like H2O, RStudio, and SAS, and Python, those kind of things. And really, H2O has been a great partner for us for deploying Ignite solutions for some of our top clients. This is a pretty straightforward example. You're all probably familiar with RStudio and H2O. So basically, we're building all these models, and it's a very simple, straightforward model, just to keep it simple. Now, the biggest benefit I see with H2O is that once the models are built, we have the ability to actually take it into a production platform with the click of a button.
So to touch on that again, what I talked about, once you build a new model, traditionally what would happen was our analysts would write a specification, a Word document that would be passed over to an IT team that would actually recode that model in C++ or Java or whatever the language it needed to execute in that runtime environment. And so with tools like H2O that generate that Java code, we can get the Pojo out of H2O or the Mojo and generate that code and run it in our runtime environments immediately, eliminating months of work and quality issues that you would see from running back and forth into, into that recoding process of a new model.
Yeah, this is a game changer for us and our clients, and we kind of have this vision of analytics to production in 30 days. A lot of our clients traditionally are SaaS programmers or SaaS shops, so they would, like Dave said, they would code it in SAS or programming languages like R, which really cannot be translated into a production environment, and this is a huge benefit from H2IC.
Yeah, and our goal here was to make sure when our customers are logging into Ignite, they're getting to have a comfortable, seamless, and frictionless experience. And the idea is to put a system together that mimics and looks a lot like what they would have in their own internal analytics environment. So there's not a lot of training involved. When they log in, they're going to see the tools they're already familiar with using. We also see clients using this environment to test out new tools, like H2O, for example. They may want to try it, test drive it in our environment with real data, real business problems, and then if they like it, then they'll make that investment to bring it back into their own analytical environment. And we also make it clear that we're not here to replace your analytics environment. A lot of our big clients invest millions and millions of dollars to create that technology and data platforms that they do analytics on. But this is really to augment that, and we also have that full ecosystem.
So once a model is built, we have certain other apps as part of our marketplace where we could do model performance validation. It's really taking any kind of a custom model and comparing it against other custom models or even standard models, and try to, think of, for lack of a better term, actually game and see what is the best fit for the certain use cases here, and then try to deploy those models with those specific parameters into a production environment. So this is our model performance validation app. It's a pretty neat app. Prior to this, we used to do all of this in spreadsheet, which was not the best way to do it, right?
Yeah, so you can get a head-to-head comparison on your models, how they're performing in that specific, and the tool allows you to change the definition of your bad rates and your outcomes, and then do that return on investment. If I adjust my score cuts a certain way, you can see what those volumes and dollars are going to look like in that app. Yep.
So let's assume that the model was deployed, and next step in the process would be model performance monitoring. Now, yeah, we built all these beautiful, wonderful models with best data sets. Now, how are the models performing? Are they doing the right thing? So this is another app that we have, model performance monitoring app, which really looks at the model performance over a period of time. And the beauty of our platform is you not just develop model once, but you keep continuously feeding the environment with the data set, performance information, and continuously monitor these models to make sure that the model is stable. Does it require to be redeveloped or refitted, any of that nature. And then the cycle really continues. So that's why I feel like this is more of a analytics development lifecycle as part of the Ignite solution suite.
Yeah, and so to wrap that up, what we like to focus on for our clients with Ignite is the three phases that we see our customers are performing. That initial phase of strategy development. What is the best strategy I can come up with all this data that I have access to now? And using historical information to really pick up a way to show the outcome in a way that's going to perform the best. And then that second component is the execution of that strategy, right? How are we going to deploy this into our runtime environments and actually leverage and take advantage of those strategies that I've developed? And then that third thing that Pinaki just showed you, that monitoring. How's that performing in the market? Am I getting the outcome that I expected? If not, we provide the concept of a feedback loop. Right? We're going to feed that data, those decisions, back into the analytics environment and continue to churn on the problem that we're trying to solve. And that allows that continuous life cycle of development, execution, and monitoring in the Ignite platform. So probably a record time that we went through this. I'm actually very surprised. We could open up to questions and see if there's anybody that has any information that they want to know more about the Ignite platform.
Yeah, so we got a few questions on Slido. They'll bring it up on the big screen.
Yep. Yes, Ignite in the UK and Canada. Actually, we launched our first Ignite Direct solution in Canada Friday.
Friday.
So it is available actively in Canada. We're selling it and deploying in Canada today. We are talking with clients in the UK today. We don't have an environment configured yet. It is in the works for 2018. We're also deploying Ignite in Australia and Latin America. So over the next year, those continents and geographies will have these capabilities available as well.
Right.
Can any subscriber access this? No. I think the answer would be no, right?
Only our clients can access it with the right access and permissions?
We use a virtual desktop with a two-factor authentication. That second factor has to be a company-issued device. So any bank or financial institution that uses Ignite, and we also have telecommunications as another vertical we support. When they log, we issue the credentials to those users. They're predefined, and we allow our clients to administer those users. If one of those users leaves the company, that second factor should be revoked, whether it's the email or a company-issued phone, to get that second factor, so they won't have access to the environment anymore. Obviously, security is one of our top concerns, and we provide a very robust layer of security and data governance and controls in the environment, what you can and can't do with certain data assets, use cases, those types of things. All that's predefined in our sales cycle. What we do is meet with our customers. We define use cases. Our analysts, our analytical consultants will work with you on what's the best data assets that we have available to help you solve those use cases, and then we actually deploy that system for those clients and defined users. All right.
Have you successfully implemented models yet? Yes, I want to say with a little bit of caution, yes. I would say more than 50% of the models have been deployed in 30 days.
Yeah, there's a couple of factors that are a little outside our control when it comes to deploying models, and the governance is the big thing, right? The regulatory environment and landscape with new models and those processes from legal and compliance being vetted can kill the 30-day process. Right. We wanted to eliminate as much friction as possible. Governance and how we automate governance going forward or streamline it is a big part of the Ignite platform, because I think governance, as you understand, is the key driver to how we control and deploy these models. So we have done it in 30 days, and
in some cases,
in the right use cases. We have a lot of work left to do around machine learning and those types of models that could be deployed faster.
So the easy answer would be, in case of regulated models, it's a lot challenging. Non-regulated model, it's a lot easier comparative.
Yeah. So how about security control of Ignite?
Well, one second. I think
can users create dashboards around their data? Yes, they can.
They can.
Yeah. We provide another tool that we allow in the environment is data visualization tools. Our primary tool we leverage is Spotfire from TIBCO. We also have Tableau as another option. So we have several clients that build their own dashboards, and we deploy those so they have a distribution method internally at their bank to see those metrics that they're building inside the Ignite platform.
The visualizations we showed actually are built using TIBCO Spotfire.
Yeah. What issues do you face when presenting H2O ML models to pass the model governance?
Right.
All right, so yeah, very good question. And truthfully, internally at Equifax, we haven't built models in H2O and deployed them as our Equifax models. Our clients are doing that inside Ignite. And I think the one client that we work with closely spent months through their legal process to get back testing and validation of those models, and that the adverse actions were being appropriately governed in a way that met our regulatory demands. And some of our banks put more restrictions on themselves than I think the regulators do, because they want to be extra cautious. They don't want to open up anything that's going to expose them to any additional scrutiny. So, okay, how about security control of Ignite? I did cover that a little bit about how we define our users and how we, and how we control access. It is in its own private cloud. It has its own network through a virtual desktop. And one other point I would like to make, data that is in this environment is anonymous. We don't put any sensitive data in the Ignite platform. The ingestion process really includes a couple of steps prior to getting into Ignite. That data is keyed using our Connexus keying technology. It provides a 12-digit unique identifier for each record. That's a consumer key. And then some of the other data is tokenized, and then any PII is removed at that point before we ingest. So when clients are logging in and getting access to that data, they're not going to see a name, social security number, address, any of that. It's only going to be that 12-digit key or some scrambled version of a credit card account number, so they can provide the mechanisms to link data in the environment.
And just to add to that, even the Connexus key is also tokenized on top of it. So they're absolutely.
Yeah, and those keys are very specific to each client instance. So David Ferber's key in one client instance would not be the same key as David Ferber in another client instance. It would be consistent inside that instance, so they can do all that linking over time in the data. But if somehow the data got out, that key would be useless anywhere else. Yeah. Can you build credit scoring models in Ignite? Yes, and that's a major use case. I'll cover a couple of use cases that our clients are using Ignite for. Model development is a primary use case. Attribute development and model development on new data assets. So that's probably one of our primary, but market research and intelligence is another. We showed a glimpse of our credit trends app, which allows customers to visualize and easily see how their portfolio stacks up against their competitors in the market. But what Ignite Direct allows you to do is get access to that raw data that's behind those visuals, and then they can do their own custom views that makes sense to them and their business. So we do allow that market intelligence use case, product journey, consumer journey, understanding what's when I market to somebody and they didn't respond, but I can go in now and see they opened an account with somebody else, and either I had the wrong message or I was the wrong timing or what, and that tool allows you to kind of do some of that with Ignite Direct and the data there. Do clients maintain access to the data they paid for in their subscription lapses? Do clients maintain access to the data they paid for? I haven't had that problem yet. So I would say yes, probably. Some clients prefer us to put the data in Ignite, and they also ship a copy to them. So they're going to have the data in their environment as well. So in that case, that would not be a problem. But I think our clients are usually pretty good about paying their bills and their subscription not lapsing. So.
Permissible.
Go ahead.
Yeah, this is straightforward. Actually, we have good relationship with not only tools like SAS, but H2O, Anaconda, our Studio, all of these great tool vendors, and we have good solid arrangement with.
Yeah, our contract includes language that supports the licensing for these tools, and each one is a little different in how it's set up and handled. But overall, we have a defined list of tools. I think we covered them all here. The main ones. We are open to adding and exploring any new tools that clients may be using. We try to get the best of the best, the industry leaders in Ignite. But if there's a tool out there that you're used to using, we do a security review, making sure there's no vulnerabilities in that software, and we'll add it into the environment if we can negotiate those licensing problems.
Yeah, on the same note, I mean, most of the tool vendors had to go through some of the reviews, and they had to actually modify the tools to actually adhere to our Ignite specifications.
It's a pricing model. Small banks or small fintechs using product. So the pricing model, we have, I would say, 4 different tiers of pricing, and it really drives a couple of different ways. It's around the data assets and tools that you're going to use, the use cases that you're going to use, the complexity of those use cases, like the ATP 30, the analytics to production, model deployment is more on the higher end, and so the lower end stuff would be market intelligence and research, and we do have smaller solutions for those smaller banks and fintechs that want to get access to certain pieces of data, maybe not as much volume or as history, and they don't need those modeling tools like SAS, which can change and modify pricing to somewhat. Since this Spotfire, are there any capabilities set up to trigger based alerts for production models? Not at this time. We've talked about that, and that is a capability that we know TIBCO has. with their some of their software and triggers, but not at this time. But we do have clients using it to set thresholds on certain data. So each month when we refresh, they can see and easily understand if we're meeting certain thresholds and easily be alerted to that. But we allow our clients to do all that themselves. That's the beauty of this tool. It's a do-it-yourself model, so they can get access to those tools and build those triggers themselves.
Okay, does Ignite help create explanation for complex models in H2O? Not yet. So we've only had use cases where our clients have built non-regulated models, so there was no need for explanations in those cases. Next one, can we perform retro using this tool in place of traditional process?
Can we perform a retro using a retro analysis? The answer is yes, for sure, certainly.
Absolutely.
You're going to have access to. We have data, standardly data going back to June of 2005, a monthly snapshot. So that's for our core data assets. We also have, and Pinaki touched on it, data like telco utility payment data. So we have the information around what cell phone bill is paying, what your cable TV look like. And your behavior around that. We have employment and income data. We have wealth and asset data, property data, automotive data. So all those data assets and that data wheel that you saw at Equifax are available in some form or fashion through Ignite. Some of them are limited in what you can and can't do with those. So those use cases and restrictions apply in Ignite as it would if I just shipped you the data in a typical data sale. So.
With that,
Great.
I just want to thank our H2O partners, Carrie especially. She's been wonderful with her support team. And thanks to Sri as well for inviting
Sri
us and
and
having
the
us.
entire H2O team has been a fantastic partner to work with and the support. And we look forward to more interactions with you guys in the future. So thank you very much.
Thank you all.
Let's give them a hand.